The internet is a misinformation minefield, and some of the carnivore advice that we get is actually borderline dangerous. I want to talk about what you find when you type carnivore into Google. The first one was all you need to know about the carnivore, all meat diet. And the first thing it tells you is that there are no controlled studies to support the claims that the carnivore diet can actually help eliminate any health issue. It lacks any beneficial nutrients. No, it says it lacks beneficial nutrients, including fiber and plant compounds like antioxidants. It may be unsafe for some people. The second article that I found, which was from Everyday Health, what is a carnivore diet? A detailed beginner's guide. And the first few sentences, high protein diets are all the rage, but one outdoes the rest. It's aptly named the carnivore diet as it focuses on meat, just meat. And if that sounds questionable from a health perspective, that's because it is. Okay, maybe the third article will do better. This one was from Harvard, so I had some hopes here. What is the carnivore diet? The carnivore diet is meat only, allows the consumption of meat, poultry, eggs, seafood, and some dairy, and water. You need to exclude all vegetables, fruits, grains, legumes, seeds, and nuts. Now, considering they just said it was only meat, they did not need to tell you what you're excluding. They do that because they want to point out to you what you don't get to eat. That's why it's sometimes referred to as zero carb diet. Okay, great. The carnivore diet is a type of keto or ketogenic diet. Okay, great. Keto diets work like this, and it goes on to explain how they work. The keto diet contains, the contents of a keto diet do not provide enough calories from glucose and other forms of sugar. So they're telling you that there's lack. To compensate, the body burns fat that creates ketones as an energy source. To compensate, let's keep in mind, wellness warriors, that we are born in a ketogenic state. So we're actually compensating by all the sugar that we burn. But here, it's telling you to compensate, it's doing this other thing. Ketones are released into the bloodstream, which lowers the normal acid balance in blood to make it more acidic. And I stopped reading right there because we know that our body produces all of the carbohydrates that we need. So having ketones in the blood isn't going to appreciably change our acid. If our acid balance was changed appreciably, we would be sick. So right there, I stopped reading because it's a garbage article in my opinion. And I'll just tell you the next chapter marker was, what are the risks of a carnivore diet? These are supposed to be articles explaining what carnivore is. And clearly the goal of these articles are to scare us away from carnivore. And they're the first articles that are listed. If you are looking for carnivore, wellness warrior, there's a great possibility that you're doing that because you don't know how to do it. You want to get some information about it and see if it can help you with some kind of health, something very likely. So who are you supposed to believe? How are we supposed to figure out if the carnivore diet might be the beginning of a solution to the problems that we're living? We're getting sicker, all the time. Every year, the statistics show us that people are getting heavier, that illnesses are going up, especially illnesses related to food, so diabetes, and we're not doing well. And we don't want to acknowledge that food is playing a role in our health problems. And when they tell us that meat is the problem, I think we want to believe it, or maybe we feel like we can believe it because we eat meat. All of us, we eat meat. We eat it regularly. And there's a small subset of our, planet that's vegetarian or vegan, but most of us are walking around eating meat. And so when we see that they are telling us there's a connection between the amount of meat we're eating and the poor health we're living, we're inclined to believe them because our doctors have been telling us for years not to eat meat. So the blame comes back to us, right? The other problem that we have is that carnivores say that they stop eating veg, they improve their health. Vegetarians say they stop eating meat, they improve their health. So we don't know who to believe. But I want to point something out, because one thing that I've noticed is that any change you make to your diet towards something healthier improves you in the short run. A lot of times, the reason that seems to be happening is because one of the things we tend to do when we remove junk from our diet is we actually remove junk food from our diet. So all the garbage that we used to eat, the cookies, ice cream, chips, cake, all that stupidity, we're not eating it anymore. And I don't think we give enough importance to the fact that every time we decide to do a healthy diet, we remove junk food from our diet. And so we, I think, honestly believe that the foods we're eating that improved our health might have been those vegetables. The same way that we thoroughly believe that the foods we're eating that improved our health might have been the meat. So how do we tell the difference? And I'm going to come back to that in a bit, because there is a way to tell the difference. The reason I'm going to come back to that is I want to point out something. There are several news articles from all around the world, places like Belgium, Italy, France, trying to put restrictions into government that would stop parents from being able to have their children be vegan because they could see that it wasn't healthy. They could see that it was causing problems in the children's development and their growth, and they want to ban that. In China, they actually went even further and were saying even vegetarian, they were trying to put a little bit more control of like children and their parents being able to put them on a vegetarian diet. Why? Well, Sawyer, on some level, we are aware that children have one goal right now in their life, which is to grow. That it is the most important thing. Their brain needs to develop, their body needs to develop, they need to be strong. They need to, in order for them to get to their best potential, they need the proper food that's going to allow them to get to their best potential. And we know that some of that is meat. But yet somehow for adults, we think that it stops being the case, that we don't need meat anymore because we're full grown, right? If meat is healthy for kids, how can it possibly be unhealthy for adults? That's the first thing I want you to ask yourself. Meat, poultry, all these animal proteins. But the second thing I want you to ask yourself is, aren't we still needing to build and repair our bodies? Absolutely we are. Our body is constantly trying to keep itself healthy. So that means it's constantly cleaning up, constantly doing things for us, rebuild and repair. I know that there's going to be a few people that are going to say, but there are things that our kids need that we stop needing. For example, the great example of this is milk. And that's all mammals, right? Like when you're born, your first food is the milk of your mother. And as time progresses, most mammals lose their ability to digest lactose. Now, we haven't lost our ability to digest lactose. I'm not sure why. It's very interesting to me that we still have that ability. But at the same time, I think the thing that I want to point out is that we do well without lactose. We don't need it in our diet. But I acknowledge that we did lose that ability. So could we possibly have lost the ability to process meat? Could that actually be a thing? I don't think that's the truth, because going back to what I said earlier about the difference between vegetarians and carnivores, how come they can both do better? The thing that I want to point out is that vegetarians do better for a while. And then at some point they stop doing better. Whereas people on a carnivore diet can go really much longer time. So it seems like somewhere around 5 to 7 years of being a vegetarian, your health starts to show the impact of not having the right protein. So those amino acids that our bodies need. And also that a lot of vegetarians are not supplementing their diet with those micronutrients that they are going to be missing, because plants, first of all, only can give us about 40% of those amino acids that we need. So plant protein is 40% bioavailable to us compared to animal protein. But also the micronutrients in plants, since they're there for the purposes of the plant, are also less available to us. This causes problems for our health. So even though initially we thrive on a vegetarian, even vegan diet, initially, as time progresses, this is why we notice it most in children, since they're growing so rapidly, the outcome of them not getting what their body needs shows itself much more rapidly. The carnivore diet is challenging the dietary norms. And I think that's part of the reason that we struggle to accept that it's what we should be eating. We've grown up being told over and over and over that fat is the problem and sugar is the solution. It's really hard for us to accept that that could be wrong, especially since every restaurant that you go into, the healthy section is full of the carbohydrate things. But do we ever stop and think about the fact that some of the most absolutely horrible things for our health are high in carb and extremely high in carb? And some of those really, really bad things are very extremely high in carb and have no sugar in them. For example, soda. For example, candy. The carnivore diet comes along and it turns all of our understanding about food upside down. It makes us uncomfortable. And we're not in a position to accept that this could possibly be true. Another reason that people will talk about carnivore being wrong and that, we should be eating the rainbow is because our bodies can manage diversity. But is our body's ability to manage diversity the same as diversity being healthy for us? If I'm just managing at work, to me, that's a sign that I shouldn't be working there. If I'm just managing in my marriage, that's a sign that the marriage isn't working. But somehow, we're okay with managing when it comes to our health. Well, we should be thriving when it comes to our health. Our body should feel amazing, and it's not what we're being pointed towards. I honestly feel that the fact that humans are built to survive, the fact that we figure things out, the fact that we can always make it to the next evolution point and the next evolution, like our brains are developed to keep us safe. And I feel like that has really pushed us to be in a situation where we think survival mode is normal mode. It isn't. Like, there's a point where we should be eating in a way that our body is just optimal. Most of us are eating in a way where our body is inflamed, painful, uncomfortable. And we move forward in life like that. We got to get out of survival mode, wellness warrior. We got to get ourselves to be in the position where life is just amazing and happy again. Like when we were first born and those first few years before all the negative repercussions of the foods we were eating really started to impact our health. We worry about being wrong when it comes to that's why people go to the internet to try to figure out, what is this carnivore diet thing I keep hearing about? How could eating only meat possibly be the thing I should be doing? We're trying to understand if this is the thing that could take me out of pain. Is this the thing that can actually help me to live my life again? And we're worried because we're already sick when we're looking this up. So if I start doing this diet and these people are crazy and they're wrong and my health gets even worse, what is going to happen to me? And I'm afraid of that. I know that when I started doing this diet, I started with keto. When I started keto, I searched the internet for a month and a half, reading everything I could find on keto, because what I learned was that I needed to get my sugar levels down to solve my inflammation problem. I was not trying to lose weight. I was trying to heal something. Now, everything that I found wasn't positive, but the negatives that they were talking about were far off into the future. And the thing I was trying to solve was happening right now. I had this question mark in front of me. Am I going to do this thing that maybe is actually going to harm my health down the road? But right now, it seems okay. And the reason I tried it was because I could see that I was already getting sick on the standard Canadian. Staying on the standard diet was going to equal, Violet, you're just going to keep getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And so I'm already on this path towards pain and destruction. Why not take a chance on this? Now, I didn't stop doing my research though, by the way. So what do we do when we want an answer? We look for the answer. That was step one to me trying to find an answer, Wellness Warrior. And eventually I learned more and more and more about why what I was doing wasn't as crazy as the people who were saying keto can't work were saying it was. The same thing is happening here. We're looking at this data, and all the people, I shouldn't say all the people, I didn't read every article on the internet, but the top ranking articles, surprisingly, are articles that say keto is going to harm your health in one way or another. And now we have to try to make a decision. Is what they're saying reality, and keto is going to harm my health in one way or another? Or is it possible that the people on YouTube, that the people that are in our Facebook groups and whatever that are saying, I did carnivore and my health improved, that they might actually be saying something real? Because when you eat the right diet for your body can actually repair itself. So are we trying to survive? Are we trying to manage? Are we in survival mode? Or are we eating the diet that solves the health problem? If you're trying to get healthy, heal your body or your mind, if you have mental health stuff that you're trying to solve, if you're trying to lose weight and trying to get past your sugar addiction, as you might have realized that by continuing to eat some carbohydrates, your addiction is not able to be over. If that's the reason that you're struggling with your health, carnivore might be the answer. It upsets me, Wellness Warrior, that these are the videos that I see when I go to Google and search for carnivore diet. Or these are the articles, I should say. It upsets me because the people that are going there and searching that are the people that are trying to understand what it is. They're people that are trying to get their health under control, very likely, and they're finding misinformation. And not just misinformation, they're finding active campaigns against doing what's healthy. And we can speculate as to who has a vested interest in creating an active campaign against what's healthy. I make these videos because I want every wellness warrior, so you, to be healthy. And I want to know, what do you think about this video? Like, when you go searching, do you find this information easily? Is there anything I said in this video today that needs more clarification? Let me know in the comments, because I want to keep making videos that serve you and help you to get healthy. I'll talk to you very soon.